My name is Jimmy Lewis. I've coached over 1,000 athletes, remotely and in person, all different levels. And here I like to share tips and advice to help you on your health journey, fitness journey, whether you are a grade school athlete working to get just on a team and just win and have fun, if you want to get a scholarship, or if you are post school and are professional and just want to be recreational or have someone to provide kind of a walkthrough of one of my new clients that I'm working with and kind of share that I think will help you as you're thinking about what goes into my programming, what goes into kind of the workouts that I'm doing. And if you don't have a coach, I think this walkthrough will help you kind of structure your own training, and it will help you really find what works best for you. I think number one, when we're working on our health, whether mental health, physical health, we're trying to get better at a sport, just lose weight, whatever our goals are, there is a very logical way in which our programs and our workouts should be structured so that we get the best results. And what I would seek to you is we want to get fitter, not simply sweat. It does feel good to sweat hard and do a long workout, and it's grueling, and there's all this, all this was involved. But there is a difference between just working out and getting fitter. So let's talk about this. So this athlete number one, we're in the day ones. So what I need to know as a coach is, how does she move? How does she squat? And so I have programmed at the beginning a simple warm up to get her body activated so it'll be ready for the actual heavier lifting that I have programmed. So in the beginning, I just want her to do air squats. I want her to just move gently up and down, no weight, just let her body start to move. Understand by this point, she's already done a warm up to get her joints, get her heart rate up, get the blood flowing. So she should be warm at this point, but we're just trying to think really about the specific motion. I then have her doing an ankle stretch and a couch stretch, really just to kind of get this body moving, get it in the right position. And then I ask her to do a squat. Now, we might be in a hotel, we might have full facilities, right? So we really want to think about, I'm after to see where we are as an athlete today. And I can build from anywhere, but I need to know where we are today. So I specifically ask her to do a back squat or goblet squat. A goblet squat is you just hold the weight in front of you. What that allows is flexibility for her, right? Number one, when you're trying to work on your training, you don't need the stress of, I don't have this fancy equipment, or I'm looking for this and it has to be this piece. No. We need to get the stimulus so we can get the results. And that's something we're really focused on here. So number one, I give the options of back squat and goblet, and then we really talk about that I'm looking for 4 to 8 sets to find a heavy set of 5 reps. And why would I give such a large range? Well, I give such a large range because if we're working with dumbbells, she might start very light, and I would hate for her to finish her set of 5 if I said do a 5x5, which is very common for people just kind of picking up workouts online. The problem with that is that set of 5 might not have been working a set of 5, and we won't have any results. Like, we won't really see where we are physically as an athlete. And by setting it at 5, what I have done is I'm not going to let her get too heavy, right? We're just beginning, right? I'm not trying to have her max out and to a lift when I haven't had the chance to really develop her mobility, her strength across her entire lower body, right? A squat is great. People think, my quads got a great pump, I feel great. But your glutes, your abductors, your hamstrings, your calves, your feet, all of your body is involved in the lower half, including great core and stability. So out of the gate, I set a 5 rep target so that way we can build up to something strong and heavy. I can get an idea of where we are, and we'll really be able to build from here. It's a good communication tool. And so if you're working on your lifting and you're trying to get your more absolute power, a squat is what we want to aim for. An 8x5 would be pretty brutal if you got really heavy and then did several sets at the heavier weights, but it depends what your goals are. We then go to push-ups. Now, we might not have any push-ups. And so one of the things that we need to do is if you want to get push-ups, you need to, number one, see how many you have today. And we need to really understand where our body is, right? So if you can do 10 push-ups, doing more push-ups or push-ups with weight on your back or a decline where your feet are raised up and your hands are on the ground at a lower level, you can do those to get better at push-ups. You can do deficit push-ups, you can go deeper. But if you want to get push-ups and you don't have any push-ups, what you need to do is begin from the top, hold in a nice lockout, and then lower yourself for a tempo. Count to 5, count to 8, wherever you are, all the way to the bottom. Now, I do want to see your whole body nice and long. You're going to squeeze our butts, we're going to keep our legs together, we're going to squeeze our quads, and we're going to be nice and secure and tight. So when we come down, we're coming down as stiff as a board, all the way down till our chest touches the ground. Nice, elbows in against the body. That is how you get a push-up. You repeat that multiple times. Now, depending on what kind of athlete you are, you might repeat that maybe 5 sets of 3. You might just do 10 reps of those. What I am looking for from her is, number one, let's see where we are. And then number two, let's put a little work in and see how she does with the little work. Now, I have her doing 5 rounds of this, and it's not a lot of work. But if we have no push-ups and we're really building our strength, then this is going to be amazing. This is going to build her capacity, going to build the right muscles in a patient way, and it's the best way to build push-ups. If you don't have them, this is what you should do. Finally, on this day, I put in an amazing core workout. I love seeing our bodies go into a hollow rock, laying tucks, which is a violent explosion to bring the body together, and then going long again. V-ups, classic. Make sure we want to move our ankles and our upper body together so we meet above our hips, not behind or in front. And then a nice little hold. And I have her doing this every 2 minutes for 3 rounds. If you do that kind of core workout, you will do your reps, and then you will rest for the remaining of the time, and then you'll repeat. I put the rest in there for athletes because it is so important that we take the time to really let our body recover, we stretch out, and then hit it again. If we don't have planned rest, we either will rest for too long and we'll lose the stimulus in those muscles, fibers that we're trying to, improve. And if we go too fast, then our form will fall apart. And so that's a careful balance. So if you're working on core exercises, or really any exercises, we want to work in the beginning for quality and then intensity. Okay, so we need to have the quality movements. They need to be consistent. They need to be in the right movement patterns. So in the very beginning, for this athlete here, right, today was day 1. I won't be really looking for any real big neurological or muscular changes until a month from now. Now we're gonna put in a lot of work. It's gonna lay the foundation. And she's thankfully a very active woman. She does a lot of training in other domains. And so this is designed to specifically make her better across that sport. And that's what's exciting here. So if you're thinking about your workouts, really consider the idea of a work and then a rest. Now you can either do your work right away and then rest for a fixed time, 30 seconds, a minute, or you can set it, well, I think if I can do this work in 20 seconds and it's gonna be an all-out sprint, then maybe every minute on the minute is for you. Remember, focus on being fitter, not just simply sweating. So this is day 1, her baseline. We're getting squatting patterns. We want to work on our our pushing and our pressing and some core. The core is in there because we're going to build that, and I can do that without really a worry of fatiguing. The next day, I focus on, again, slow and steady, consistent movements, overhead presses. So I like the idea of 2 dumbbells on our shoulders, pressing up, alternating, building up to a heavy set. Why do I want my athletes doing this? I want to isolate each arm so we can really see where we are. I'm hoping she comes back with a note that says, hey, my left arm was able to do 20 pounds, my right arm was able to do 30. That's good to know, right? That allows me to create proper workouts. I then have her doing a bent over row, really again keeping those elbows in, nice and tight. A fun thing that I always include is a split squat, and I particularly like the Bulgarian split squat. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to build better balance capacity. It allows us to really get our glutes and some abnormal muscle engagement that's not typical for many people. Right? Balancing on one foot and then lowering yourself down is not normal. And I find this to be a really successful movement. I'm asking between 4 and 6 sets for about 8 reps per leg. And when you're doing this movement, you want that back leg to really be on a knee height level. We don't want to go too high or too low. Your knee height, nobody else's. Then I have her do some rowing fun. Now my intentions here is I want a 10 calorie max effort, and then we're gonna rest for 2 minutes. Now that's a long time of rest for her because she's a very strong rower. And so 10 calories is probably 20 seconds. But we're gonna do it 4 times, and if she hits it hard enough, like really hits it hard, then she should see some really appreciation around the rest, but also we should see some real good work here. And again, this is a baseline. I really want to see where we are. Then finally, I have a nice mobility piece. Now mobility needs to be to where you are as an athlete. And so from a coaching perspective, one thing that's really key is making things that make sense for the athlete, right? So everything that I do with my community in general is delivering the right stimulus and the right patterns of movement that will make them better. And everything has an intention. And as we can be more specific, we're able to be really see true benefits, right? Reduce injury rate, more PRs and personal bests, and then just happier humans. So for her, she's going to focus on dead bugs, glute bridges, wall dead bugs, which I like because it allows us to really make sure we're dialed in on our form. A quadruped stretch, which is the arms and the legs alternating, and then a side plank raise, like just up and down on the sides. We're gonna do 20 reps here, nice and slow and steady, and I think we'll probably have her do this. We'll do it 3 times. And that will really set us up nicely. And I always like to make sure I have got demo videos in there, and they're there. Now, it's not enough for your training to be isolated, just building weight and maybe doing some mobility. We have to have some training aspects. We have to challenge ourselves at certain intensities. And so she, in the next day, will be doing a longer distance, and again, more time trialing. But in all these cases of all these hard rows or hard bikes, what I'm really looking for is I'm trying to get a baseline. I'm trying to see where we are today. And I'm also looking at the heart rate because she wears a heart rate monitor, and I'm going to use that data to really make sure I program it, things custom for her. When we're done with all this fitness, there's still the mind. And so I'm really big on this. And so all my athletes, I try to incorporate a mindfulness and really a rest and energy level check. So if you're looking at your training over the last few months and you feel like you're not really performing, you're not getting the results that you built according to the plan, you really need to look at how are you sleeping, how are you eating. And you can see this honestly through your energy, right? If they're not fantastic, if you're dragging, if your soreness is at an odd, either too high or too low for what we're doing, then you need to adjust. And we need to really look at food and our rest. Here we've intentionally set one full rest day, and then another day can be a recovery type of an active day. She might go for a run, might go for a bike, whatever she wants. But it's critical that we have these here. Athletes and high performers, sometimes feel that doing a lot of work results in being better. And it's not true. The human body needs to take in that stress and that intensity, relax, adapt, grow new cells, muscles, veins, everything, and then go again, right? If we just try to stay on, the body's never gonna take the time it desires to make you better, make you a better human. So sleep allows us to rebuild, food allows us to give us the building blocks to make us better. So we need all these to be there. And then her program, and I talked about, I have a gratefulness exercise that she's doing in a weekly challenge. And then I also have check-ins around her mood, her sleep, and her level of soreness. So that's it. So that's how you need to really think about your fitness. This is how I begin programming a new athlete. I really think about kind of where they are, what are their challenges, what's their goals. We do a 30 to 45 minute just sit down assessment of where we are, where do we want to go, really kind of hear her out or him out. And then we really write down things that I'm hearing, maybe movement patterns, get a history around injuries, known weaknesses, and really just try to get a sense of where they are as a person. Because if I know this, then I can design the work that is successful, to get the results, and together as a team, we really see the results that we're after together. So take these for what they are. If you are trying to get more powerful, either a runner, a cyclist, a swimmer, you need to do squats. I recommend goblet squats. Really make sure in total you get, if you're trying to get stronger, then anywhere between 25 and 32 reps would be amazing. If you have been working your face off for the last year and running and rowing and whatever it is, and just not getting enough mass to move weight, then we need to make sure we have enough food, and we need to bump up those reps per movement workout to between really 35 and 50. And they become quite challenging if you go for sets of 10 or 8 at a time, and they also cause a different stimulus, right? So for an endurance athlete like the way she is, me setting the sets of 10 for her across 5 sets and with 10 reps won't deliver the results that we're looking for as a team. And that's simply because her mindset and her energy system and how she trains, if I have her do a set of 10, she could probably continue and do 15 or 20 more reps on that same bar for that same weight, because that's just how she's built and how she's been trained and conditioned, and she has these natural neurological breakers that are like, hey, this is a good weight, but we could do double the reps. And so by having lower reps, maybe higher sets, it allows us to challenge. It invites failure in a safe way so that we can really begin to push that edge. So really want to think about that. For the push-ups, again, if you want to get push-ups and you have no push-ups, you need to start at the top of a plank, nice lock, good body position, squeeze the core. You should be able to hold that for about a minute. So if you can't do a minute plank, we want to start building in maybe 10 seconds at a time, and then 20 seconds at a time, and then 30 seconds at a time, really getting to a nice solid lockout. And then we want to lower ourselves in a beautiful stiff plank. And we want to repeat that and repeat that. And if you do that, what's happening is you're building the muscles in the reverse way. Also, we're going to include things like bench press and these other pressing moments, but beginning there, isometric and eccentric descents will develop the muscles. So that's it. Wish well, and hope this insight into what it takes to coach an athlete in the beginning is helpful, and maybe these sections are valuable. So my name is Jimmy Delish. I have coached over 1,000 athletes remotely and in person, all different levels. And here I like to share tips and advice to help you on your health journey, fitness journey, whether you are a grade school athlete working to get just on a team and just win and have fun, if you want to get a scholarship, or if you are post school and are professional and just want to be recreational or have some level of competitiveness. I have had the privilege of working with all of those. My oldest athlete is 68 and my youngest is 11, and it's just an amazing range, and just the energy and ability for them to work in different ways is really one of my great pleasures. So I share these tips so that you can get better. I share these ideas so you can get better. If you travel, if you are a professional and you want to get fit, you feel like you have done training but it's not effective with your time. I had the privilege of being Ernst & Young alumni and PwC alumni, and I had the chance to travel for 20 years straight as a professional consultant, and did 8 Ironmans of varying distances, ran volcanoes in the winter. I did all these things with the support of my Big Four family, but I realized and recognized that it took a different type of training to really see the results. And when I remember our times together, and this is one of the reasons I began coaching kids and adults, is we'd all be there in the gym at 5 and 6 a.m. wherever we were, whatever hotel around the planet, and we just kept getting more unhealthy. And so it has become my ambition and desire to bring this knowledge forward so that you all can benefit from it. And that's why I am up at 10:30 at night, putting down workouts for my 1,000+ athletes so that they all can do better. If you have any questions, let me know. And I wish you nothing but health and happiness. Have a great day.